Hello and welcome to the Thirsty Gamers channel. My name is Zach. Today we're going to look at the very, very pretty game of Lotus by Renegade Games. And this is 2 to 4 players, and it's designed by Jordan and Mandy Goddard. And in this game, you are vying for control over these very beautiful flowers in this garden, and you're using your guardians to help you out too. Let me show you the components, and let me tell you very, very gorgeous components, and let me show you an overview of the game, and then I'll tell you my final thoughts. All right, we're going to be looking first at your player deck. You have the color on the back side, and then your color there for your icon. You also have the number of petals. So again, it can go up to 7, but it's just a really cool marker there that shows you how many is in each. Also, I really like that it actually has a notch there because, as you see here on the ground, on the table, you can actually see it laid out, and it's really, really vibrant, really cool to look at. If you know, people start walking over and they're like, "Oh, what's that you're playing?" Because again, you can have up to 7 flowers on the table at once, so it's really interesting to look at as people are playing it. Real quick. The other thing that you have is just the common pile here. It's just in gray. It has no icons or anything on it. It's just it's a common pool for everybody. All right, the other pieces in this game, you have your little they're called your guardians. You have just your guardians in your player color, and then you also have these elder guardians that are in just kind of a silver grayish color. Again, really nice, just typical wood meeples. And they're also cut to kind of give kind of a, like you would see something in the garden, like, you know, your butterflies, your caterpillars, dragonflies, and then I believe these are the ladybugs. All right, you also have your special power tokens here in your color. There's 3 different ones that you can get through the game, and I'll explain that a little later. You also have your cardboard victory points. There's only 5 victory point tokens in this game. Again, these are kind of things that you're going to be able to get once you actually end up completing a flower. All right, you're going to start out with 4 cards on your turn, and you're going to have 3 actions available to you. The first action is just play petal cards. Now you can play up to 2 petal cards of the same type of flower to the pool here. So for instance, I would play these 2 flowers, and then right now, I have control of this flower, so I have 2 symbols. The other thing you can do is you can place your guardian on the actual flower. This is going to give you 1 extra point. So if you're tied, or you're a couple behind, and you don't have this type of flower, but you're like, you know, I want an extra point here, you can place it on one of the flower petals, and that's going to give you an extra a point towards that flower. The other thing too is if there's ever another flower, you can actually move this guardian to another flower space. And again, this allows you to get an extra point on that flower, and you can do this multiple times, but you're only going to be able to do 2 actions on your turn. All right, the last action I'm able to do is I can actually exchange up to 2 of my petal cards in my hand and put them on the bottom of the player deck, and then grab 2 new cards. So for instance, if I don't like these 2, I'll just put them at the bottom and then grab 2 new cards. At the end of your turn, you're gonna be able to actually draw back up to 4 cards. So you can actually draw from your player deck, or you can draw from the common deck that everybody can use. Keep in mind that you are able to use these cards, but they do not have your player symbol on them. But you get to see actually what you're drawing from the hand of cards here, rather than just drawing blindly off the player deck. So for instance, I have 2 cards here, so I'll draw 1 from my player deck, and then I'll draw 1 from the common pile. And then you just replenish that pile as well. All right, how we score points in this game is once someone completes the last petal of the flower, then we see who controls the flower. Now, again, you're going to add the symbols here. Also, you're going to add your guardians up. So for instance, for this flower, yellow player would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 with his guardian. The person that completes the flower is going to be able to gain one of their special powers, or they're going to be able to get 5 victory points, and it's your choice. Also, after that, the person that completed the flower is going to be able to take all the flowers, and they're going to be able to put it in their pile to the side, and they're going to gain 1 victory point for each card that they have at the end of the game. Also, let's say for instance that there was a tie. In this case, it would be 3-3. Then both people would either get a special power or the 5-point victory points. And they also will be able to split the cards evenly rounded up to be able to get those victory points at the end of the game for each petal. Finally, let's talk about the actual player powers. You have 3 of them. The first one is, instead of holding 4 cards in your hand, you can actually hold 5 cards in your hand. The second one is, you can, instead of playing 2 petal cards as an action of the same flower, you can play 3. And then the last one is the Elder Guardian, which is you get one of those silver little meeples of your player symbol, and then you're able to place that on the petals, and you're going to be able to get a 2-point control instead of a 1-point control with this. All right, at the end of the game, you're going to count the cards that you grabbed for completing flowers. It's 1 point for each, and then also you're going to be able to get the count up the 5-point victory points for each 5-point victory point that you took when you completed a flower, or excuse me, when you had control of a flower. The game ends though is when actually some person's pile of cards actually go out. So if I'm able to grab the last card of the L player, then the game is going to end after that, and then you're going to just count up your points. That was Lotus. Very, 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 very simple game. I could teach this to pretty much anybody. I know it says like ages like 8 and up. I could probably teach this even below that. So as far as the component wise, oh my god, even from the box cover there, I mean, it looks like, I'm sure it's like watercolor. It's super gorgeous. The flowers, really, really, really nice. The artwork's just amazing across the board. I even like because you're making the flowers, and it's almost like an art project that you're doing. You're making the flowers, and they actually have the little notches, the little line on the artwork that you actually form the flower, because some of them are 3 petals, some of them are 6 petals, up to like 7 petals. So really, really thought that was a nice little touch. The Guardian little meeples of your color, thought those were fine. It's so funny, this game's such a gorgeous, very beautiful, vibrant, an array of colors. But then the special tokens, I would say that's the only down point. They're just gray, like grayish silver tokens. So I felt like they could have made just a different color. I mean, it's only, you're getting 4 base colors in the game, and they could have easily just put a different color on that. But I could see maybe they're thinking, oh, well, that color would contrast with the colors on the flowers. But as far as the gameplay itself, again, super simple game. I will say this game is probably not for me. I know that I played with my girlfriend. She really, really enjoyed this game. I would say that this game is actually kind of a nice, relaxing game with your significant other. She really, really wanted to play this game a lot. But as far as the mechanics, I mean, I do enjoy trying to fight over, trying to get the petals and control, and you're working multiple petals, or excuse me, multiple flowers in the game. So there is some thinking involved, and you're trying to think, oh, well, what do I think my opponent's going to do next? I gotta, kind of, it's like a chess game. I gotta do what I'm gonna do, or what I want to do 2 turns from now before they do their next turn. So the other thing too is they have the little guardians where you can get like an extra point. Like if you throw your guardian on there, it just gives you an extra. To me, this game could even be more simpler and just throw that out there. Don't even use the guardians. I just think the card play, boom, 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 boom. I think that type of game would be fine just doing that. I don't even think you even need the Guardians. As far as the special powers, again, they're nice to have. I know, you know, when you successfully get a flower, you can either pick 5 victory points or a special power. Me personally, I usually just go for the 5 victory points, but you know, getting another Guardian that's worth 2, or getting you know, an extra card in your hand, or being able to play another card, I think they're fine and they're simple and they're not like overtaking the game, and they're not broken. But especially in a 2-player game, I mean, I think me and my girlfriend were getting them right away. I mean, it was like boom, 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 and we already got the special powers, and then we were just going for the 5 victory points at the end. Now, in a you know, 3 or 4-player game, you know, those powers are a little bit harder because, you know, you're playing with more people that are winning more hands. But as far as the game itself, I thought it was a nice game. And again, you feel very relaxed. I don't even feel very tense in this game. You know, it's not a very big strategic game. It's just a nice, almost filler-esque type game. But I really, really did like it. I know that this one would be one of those games that I would definitely be playing with my girlfriend a lot more than I would be bringing to other players. But this plays well with all counts. This isn't a game that I'm going to be keeping, but my final score for this game is 6.5 out of 10. And that, again, that's just based on, I thought it was a very nice game, but it's not my type of game. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay thirsty for games, my friends.